Hey, and welcome to the demonstration of Slide with AI. So, Slide with AI is a very simple tool to use. It actually helps you to create amazing presentations which are dynamic, and the AI assistant that we have developed is a completely agentic, multi-agent orchestrated um, AI stack, which knows a lot about how to present something to the audience. Okay, so this is a very gamified experience. It has been tuned to create the best slides for a particular topic. For example, when we decided to build a slide with AI, we never asked whether AI could create presentations. We actually asked whether AI could understand what kind of presentations should be created for a particular kind of topic. So it has got the complete framework of pedagogy. So what you call actually the Bloom's taxonomy. So we have actually embedded an AI layer to understand how a particular presentation has to be created, a particular topic has to be taught. So not wasting much time, let's just go and create a new project. Actually, okay, this is how the panel looks like. It's a very simple user interface. The moment you load it, you can see all the presentations that are on to your left side. And here, if you want to create a new presentation, it automatically gets added to the first project here. Just in case if you want to organize your demonstration or presentations in a different project, so you can just go and click on new project, and here I'll call it demo of slide with AI, and you press enter, and then it created a new a folder, right? So I already had created a new folder here, so it's okay. I can just go and delete this. That's not a problem, right? Okay. So we are back inside this, and there is nothing here yet. So we're going to be creating a demo of Slide with AI, and now let's quickly go and click on create presentation. That's what you need to do. So we click on it. Now you are immediately presented with this blank screen where you have an option to either add a slide the way you want. So you can just add a slide and add your own image and stuff. You don't have to use AI assistant all the time. But of course, the whole beauty of the tool is that AI assistant is there to build your entire deck. So you go to untitled presentation here, and let's call it what do we want to present today. Let's say we are trying to build a slide on algebra versus linear algebra. Okay, so I've just named it as this, and I want to show you the features, particularly the design features over here. So when you click on design features, you have theme, content, branding, and resources. Okay, if you have any PDF, CSV, markdown images, you can put it here as your rag. It is going to be your reference files. When it comes to branding, you can upload your logo or put your footer, company name or website, anything, and it will show up. We'll do it. We'll see it later. In the content section, you have compact, dense, and denser. So if you want a compact, just a LinkedIn kind of post, you can just use a very compact, content density. Otherwise, if you want a little more of explanation, you can go with this. Or if you want the A4 size book kind of an experience, so that the same presentation can be converted into a book later and sent to your students, you can use the denser option. I will just leave it at dense right now, and I want to show you the options that you have here. So these options we'll explore once we start building the slides. And right now we'll just go and click on the AI assistant. Here you go. The AI assistant panel is in front of you. You can ask anything like create a deck, change the theme, add images, add slides, anything that you want. The change of theme is something that you can actually do manually from here. And you can also create your own theme, like how I've created a Certishort theme. The Certishort is a tech company. So it's our company. So we have our Certishort theme. Now we know that all the images are going to follow this branded feel. So we'll be able to see that in action right away. So I've clicked Certishort theme, and I've closed that particular window. Now I'm going to come and ask a few questions. So the first question I'm going to ask is, do you understand the pedagogy frameworks embedded in you? So I'll just go ahead and ask it, and we'll see what's the response is. So here's the answer. Yes, I do. My system is built around several pedagogical frameworks and narrative mode designed to optimize learning and engagement based on your specific audience and topic. It's got context, curiosity, exploration, and example, real-world application of walkthroughs, question summaries, narrative modes, Socratic way, discovery way, inversion, systematic, many more. There are many pedagogical frameworks. If you really want, if you're really interested, you can actually ask it, how many frameworks do you have? Here you go. How many different frameworks do you have? So let's wait for the answer. So here's the answer. There are 12, there are 11 different narrative modes depending on a particular concept. So there is Socratic, a guided discovery, discovery mode, presenting evidence first and then letting the audience find the rule. Inversion, starting with a failure or a mistake and learning how to fix it. Minimum world, comparative, chronological, reverse engineering. These are there. And now, are you going to? So, as I said, for you, algebra versus linear algebra, I've never said anything because it's just picked up from the name that I've given it. Has picked up that my presentation is going to be about algebra versus linear algebra. Okay, so it says for your algebra versus linear algebra presentation, a comparative or discovery mode would likely be the most effective. Would you like to start the intake process? But we have a few more questions. Okay, now I want to ask it an interesting question. Can you figure out the appropriate framework yourself when I give a topic, or do I have to specifically mention it? So we're testing how intelligent the system is. Okay, so basically it is answered that it uses an auto-select logic that analyzes three things: the complexity, the audience, the duration. Okay, based on this, it's going to select. So for example, if you say how a car engine works, I'll likely choose a system flow. If you say ethics for AI, I'll choose a Socratic or inversion method. For your topic, algebra versus linear algebra, I would likely pick a comparative to show how the rules change when you move from single numbers to vectors and meters. It understands the context. Okay, you only need to mention a framework if you have a specific vision. Otherwise, just tell me the topic and who is it for, and I'll architect the most effective learning path. Right? So we'll just go ahead and say, okay, let's build a highly interactive deck with lots of images on algebra and linear algebra. Okay, so there you go. I've given it. Now it is designed to ask a few questions. As I said, the topic, the story setup. See, everything is a story here. It may be engineering, yes, but still, the whole idea is we are all storytellers and story listeners. So the whole engine is created in such a way as to hook the audience to the engagement. Correct. So now it is asking who's your audience. For example, are they teen, college, or adults? So I would say, college and adults, a mixture of both, right? So I will just use a mixture of both, and we'll go ahead and do that. It is of course going to ask a few more questions because it has to fill what is the duration, tone, number of slides required, focus and stuff. So let's say we build for 15 minutes, or 15 minutes introduction. So here we go. I've just given it 15 minutes, so it's going to put it as a duration of 15 minutes. It understands for 15 minutes how many slides will be optimally needed. Everything is agentic. It's all coded within. And is asking, okay, academic, rigorous and formal, practical, focused on real-world engineering and data science applications, friendly, approachable and conversational, inspiring, focusing on the beauty and power of mathematics. What would you like to do? Inspiring? Let's go with inspiring. Okay, so it's just the way we think, but you can of course change it the way you want. So it has taken up, and now it is designed to give you an outline. Here's the outline in front of you. It's still not the slide, it's an outline. You can actually change whatever you want here. Okay, you can ask it here also to change. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask it to few questions. These kind of things happen. It's okay. Tools use connection error, please try. It's okay. These are agents to agent interactions where there's a thing comes up, but no context is lost. All this context is actually cached and saved, so you can continue the conversation. These things are just logs that come up. Okay, now I'm going to ask another interesting question, because you need to know the kind of layout that we have. Okay, how many kinds of quiz and engagement layouts do you have? I'm asking it. So it's going to give me an answer of different kinds. So there are 9 distinct interactive quiz layouts. There's a quiz, there's a poll, there's a word cloud, brainstorm, type answer, ranking, spinner wheel, rating scale, gold coins. Which of these would you like to feature in most of your algebraic? Once you decide, we can finish the intake and move to the outline. Okay. So I'll say add one of each. So here we go. So it'll understand, but maybe it won't update the outline right away. You'll have to actually tell it to update the outline, but it has saved it, and then it'll move forward. Okay, it has actually updated it on its own. So that's a nice thing. So now what we do is, now we study the outline. Okay, is it fine with you? Are you okay with what is happening? If you are okay, then you go and do, on the right side here, as you can follow the cursor, approve and create the slides. Okay, and then I say here it'll ask you, okay, rebuild the slides. It's a warning question that if there are certain slides already built, it happens. Certain slides have already built and you're trying to change something. So it usually asks it. And of course, there was no slide built. So you would just say, okay, rebuild it, not a problem. So it's the outline, the approval has been done. So it's now starting to create. So that's it. There you go. It's going to actually create. And as it moves, it's going to create the image as well. Art of the matrix. Setting the stage for higher dimensional perspective, we move beyond simple equations into the world of vectors and transformations. So as we move forward, it's going to keep creating those images for you. So we'll get the first image right away, I guess. We'll be able to see the image. Okay, that's beautiful. So, and then how do you feel about math today? Revolution of thinking. Nice. This is nice, actually. Scalars and vectors, the great dude. So it's going about creating that hooky kind of a storyline for you in a flash. Now imagine if you were to decide how to teach it and how to build a story for the students. All of that is just taken care in a flash. So this is how your class of the future of education will change, because once we start creating, use AI to create the best experience for your students. This is going to be a game changer, because we all know how the attention span of the Gen Z is very limited, right? So we can create these kind of artifacts, which is going to keep the attention of the students on the board, because there's a reward system that also comes up. We'll see how it facilitates the reward system. We'll have to allow it to finish all its pictures and grids and stuff. So it is doing it step by step. Oh, that's a beautiful picture here. The magic of transformation. I would like to see that. Here, what I'm going to do is, so actually we are missing a lot of interesting concepts. So this is fine, but as you can see, the theme of Certishort is set. So if I can go and upload the logo of Certishort, let's say Certishort is black, open it, and then it has been uploaded. So I can now just go and present. So on presentation, see the Certishort logo is here, and you can actually see that the pictures that come up next has the same color pattern. So the branding is taken care of without you even. So before you start, what is your current history in algebra? Intermediate, curious, confident. Most people are intermediate, right? That is fine. Okay, so this is okay. You start collecting this thing. So we don't have to go into the depth of it now, because we have still a lot of work to finish, because this is not the end of your design. There is a whole iterative way. So let me ask another question to it. Okay, so here's what I'm asking. I think we are missing what we are missing is visuals for each slide. I think a visual story of what each step means would be great for students. Can you build appropriate visuals if it's okay? Making more slides to increase the cadence. Cadence means cadence is more like step-by-step approach to make every slide interactive, to break down the concepts and increase the cadence of the explanation, so that it is not assuming anything, it goes even more deeper. And I'm saying you can use more slides to increase it. It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna just go and give this option, so it's going to rebuild the slides for you immediately. And the user has to understand that once you create these artifacts, it's there permanently with you. Okay, so now next time, anytime you want an algebra, linear algebra slide, there you go, you have it. There's nothing much that you need. And there's more, because so it has added a few more pictures, and it's going to create those images for you. And these are all pictures which are related to our brand, Certishot. Okay, it could be it could be your brand. This is a very interesting picture that's created, right? So you see here how breaking the line, visualizing the jump to higher dimensions. It's a beautiful picture, isn't it? Of course, it has this Certishot element, our brand element in it. And imagine, see the detailing of it. It imagines it. It wants to give you a picture of what higher dimension is and how these things are. This is probably one of the most beautiful pictures I have seen of linear algebra. And here's another one which shows how matrices shapes the world, how it shapes the world. And here, so what we are now seeing is there are certain images which are hidden. So actually, if you go here and use this, it's still building, so I think it just took control view visual story. Okay, right, so it has this image here, right? So you're seeing this. What you can now do is, if you don't want this layout, you can actually go and use this media right layout. Now you see this media right layout is also not doing justice to the picture over here. In that case, what we can do is just close this and transform this presentation into an A4. So when you come to an A4, now you're actually seeing the whole picture. Okay, it happens. I mean, this is something which is because you're talking about a lot of pictures and mathematical pictures. So here you can actually go and do this. So the anatomy of a vector isn't just a list of numbers, it's an arrow in space. It has magnitude, length, and direction. When we add vectors, we aren't just adding numbers, we're combining forces. So it's giving you that idea of vectors. And then you have all these pictures here. You see matrix, the world shapers, verbs of the linear algebra. Okay, matrices are the verbs of linear algebra. That's a beautiful statement if you understand. Verb is an action. So matrix is that action of linear algebra. They tell vectors how to move. They can rotate space, stretch it, or flatten it. Every frame of a Pixar movie or a video game is just billions of matrices telling vectors where to go. It's a beautiful analogy which is being shown here. Now I would ask something more of it. As you can see, there are all these quizzes that are being made automatically for you, because this is a presentation. Once we present it, you come to know how. So I feel there is still something missing. So what I feel is, that there should be some slides to show matrix operations which are usually on paper as geometrical operations which are visualized. So take a few examples for intuition building, add 4 more slides if needed. And I will also add compare the text form of matrix with its visual form, especially the Ivan vector concept. There you go. So I've instructed it to add a few more slides towards what we wanted, so it's going to immediately add it. So if somebody's building a class, if somebody's, has a particular syllabus, that's okay. The reason why I took off this form is because I kept it in A4 section. So I just taken up the A4 slide, and it's not bad if you were to actually see it. This is done, eigenvectors, then shapeable lines. Okay. So we can now ask it to check slide. Where's that slide? Here, 21. Check slide 21's color on contrast. Okay, there you go. So it's going to understand that on white background, the color contrast is, so it'll change it automatically. And we still have to add some picture here, so we can ask it to add those pictures. It's not a problem. Okay, so happens. And while it adjusts it, I want to show you all different options that you have. You have 16:9, you have 9:16 for Instagram. If at all you want to give it as a carousel to Instagram, you can go and make it a 1:1, as if if you were to put it on LinkedIn as a carousel feature, if at all it makes sense to you. Anyway, the journey begins later to master. You've seen the dimension stuff. Okay, let's changed it. You can have a letter size if there's a newsletter that you want to create and send this as a newsletter to your audience or something. So that's fine. I mean, it's just created whatever you want. So we're gonna go and put it in this format, the presentation format. And now that we've finished, there are two. Okay, now what we're going to do is, as we saw, we can go for presentation mode, or we have another option here called go live mode. Okay, so when you go live, it's going to give us a session ID, a QR code, and a link to join this session. So this is for people. So this could be directly facing the students in a class. It doesn't matter if you're in a class. Your screen is connected to the projector. Students can easily scan this and get connected to this session live on their phone. Why is it needed? Because we have a lot of quizzes which we want students to take as we are learning. Correct? So that will keep them hooked. Now, if there are people online, they can still scan it and still be able to interact with the quiz. Correct? So we just go copy. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new browser. Okay, I'm going to keep this browser here. I'll collapse this so that we can get a better view of this. We'll just hold this here. And where's the other browser that I opened up? Okay, so let's open a new browser completely. New session. So what do I need? I need this. Copy this, paste it here, and there you go. We've got this. Okay, you can either do it by scanning the QR code, or you can just do this. It works both ways. So it's asking for a name, so I'll just give it a name and I'll just say that's fine. Otherwise, I'm sure. So it's going to be okay. The moment I click on start the session, join the session. One second. So if this happens, they have to just reload it. That's it. So now you see whatever is on the left is being seen on the right. You see here. I go to the next slide. I get the next slide here. I go to the next slide. This is where it is. Then we go, and as we move, here you see. Now this left side is the one which everybody is seeing. The right side is a personal experience for the student. How do you feel about math today? I'm excited. So it actually shows up here. So if there are 100 more students, it's going to show up what they said. Okay, so that's it. So I move forward, and then you get a new board. And now you can say, in one word, what comes to mind when you think of a matrix? Think beyond the movie, right? So, and then we can start collecting. So here it says that I'm going to give them 30 seconds to write whatever they want. So I'm going to click this, and here type a word and press enter. So in one word, what comes to mind when you think of matrix? A lot of numbers, squares, eigenvectors, that's what comes to my mind, and then transformations, and that's it. Okay, so now this is just one person saying. It could be an entire class, and we can come to know exactly what an entire class thinks about matrix. That's another interesting stuff, so that people can understand each other. Now then the lesson comes up and it moves forward, and then you have different kinds. Okay, which of the following types of vector rather than a scale? So this, right? And then yeah, the answer is logged. Move ahead. So then all these images, pictures, and now you have beyond tech. What else do you think linear algebra plays a leading role in our daily lives? In economy, biology, logistics. Share your ideas. 3 left. Okay. Beyond tech, where else do you think linear algebra plays a leading role in? And probably drug, discovery, graphics, movie graphics. Okay, and it's okay. I mean, if you can always move ahead. You don't have to fill all the 3. Now we move, finish. The next one comes up. Your vector 4 scalar multiplication. What is the first component of the resulting vector? Type your answer. Vector e 2, 3, and we scale it by 4. Scalar multiplication. What is the first component of the resulting vector? 8. Okay, so it's just 2 into 4, 8. Correct. So it knows, it understands. Not just you're not left blind. Correct. So we move forward. So there you go. So there, rank the complexity. 1D algebra solving for x, 2D vector, 3D and dimensional space. So it's actually ranked properly. I would submit the rank. Okay. So we move forward, and then there's spin, right? So you can actually spin here, and we can just spin, and whatever concept comes up, we just matrix inversion. So we can just say we'll talk about matrix inversion next. So this way you can make it interesting. So here you have all this thing, so you can just go and make it big if you want that way, or you can just go back. Now you have 25 gold coins. Invest them in the field where you want most. You want to see linear algebra applied. So I can invest. If you wanted to apply to deep learning, I would say I will invest 10 gold coins for this. For quantum computing, I'll give 5 gold coins. For game dev engine, I'll give 5 gold coins, and then I have 5 more left, so I'll just give another 5 and submit the distribution. Right, so this way we can know how people are reacting in the class as to how they would distribute it. So these kind of things actually make people think. Now, closing below, how much has this session changed your perspective on power of linear algebra? I would say okay, because we didn't actually build something too big out of it, and of course you can really do it. Now the slides come up and then we move forward. We didn't add that image, we forgot, and there you go. So let the end and we close. So once you end the session here, it ends for them, and now we come back to the leaderboard. Okay, now you go to the session history and you can just click on the most recent one, which was 6 minutes ago it started, and there you go. It's going to show up how the answers were present. It's building that entire thing. So you see we have how the answers went. This is the whole report of. If you want, you can just download the report as a PDF, download it, see it just in a flash, submit it to anybody who you want to send it to. That's it. Okay, attendees will only just 2 quizzes and polls, 1 word cloud, 1 ranged question, and then the report is done. And of course, we can customize this report eventually. How the executive summary was: session was conducted over 6 minutes with 1 entity participating, blah blah blah, quiz with actual 50% accuracy, participated across 100%, everything it just shows. Okay, rating and scale response is so much and so forth. So this is what it's capable of doing. So if you want to go back to the dashboard, you can go back to the dashboard and click on Slide with AI again. And now I'll show you something cool. Okay, now what I'm going to say to the AI assistant is, now because see, when you say present, you actually see this narration here, right? Today we're going to explore a profound leap from standard algebra, blah 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 and stuff. You can actually convert this whole thing into a video. Here there are no speaker notes. See? So I'm going to just say, I'll just say add speaker notes to each slide, keep it short, and talk directly to the audience. Make sure the notes is in sync with the text on the slide. These are some things that we pick up, we learn how to do, and you will also pick it up as you start using the system. And because it's an agentic system, some people will learn to do beautifully wonderful things with it as time goes, right? So the whole exploration for this is too much. I mean, you can just keep exploring different ways in which you want to do it, and it will support you, the system, because it's agentic. You can actually surprise yourself as to what you were able to create with it. Now that it is done, you can just go and check this. Yeah, see, it has kept it simple. Just move ahead and you'll see it's just very simple, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back to present again, and I'll go to the recording mode. Okay, there you go, the record mode. So if I start recording this, before I start recording this, I have two options. When I go for recording, I can put my voice to it. But if I want a very special kind of a recording, which is AI voice based, so I would go and choose an AI voice. Mostly I choose Olivia, a female voice, because expressions are beautiful. So let's hope we can record also.
Welcome. Today, we're moving beyond simple equations. We're going to explore how math isn't just about numbers. It's about the art of patterns in space. Look at this image. Algebra usually keeps us on a flat line. Linear algebra is what happens when we break that line and jump into higher dimensions.
Okay, so I'll
consider this quote.
I've just stopped it. So I go.
Welcome.
Back.
Today, we're moving beyond.
Again, I've stopped it because it's still. So I go to the recording button and I start recording. It's going to ask me some permission. I say allow it. And now you see this particular line, which is here, this is the only space that gets recorded. Now I can actually start the narration.
Welcome. Today, we're moving beyond simple equations. We're going to explore how math isn't just about numbers. It's about the art of patterns in space. Look at this image. Algebra usually keeps us on a flat line. Linear algebra is what happens when we break that line
That's
and
it.
jump into higher
So
dimensions.
if you're done with the whole thing,
Consider this quote. Math is the language of the universe, and patterns are the grammar. Today, we learn how to read those patterns. Think back to how before we
stop the presentation. Now you see we can just go and download this, and it is downloaded. It's a 4.8 MB. That's because I've stopped it in between. So I can just go and click it, and immediately you can see how the. And now you see this particular line. This is my voice which started, right? This is the only space that gets recorded. Now I can actually start the narration.
Welcome. Today, we're moving beyond simple equations.
That's it.
We're going to explore how math isn't just about numbers. It's about the art of patterns in space. Look at this image. Algebra usually keeps us on a flat line. Linear algebra is what happens.
You have all this. It's a WebP format, and you can put directly upload it to YouTube or any way you want. And the beauty of this is, let's say we close this, and you can, if you want to, you just close this. If you wanted to record this as a 1:1, you can still do that. Okay, this whole thing.
What words come to mind when you hear matrix? Submit them now.
Okay, when you go to record again and allow it, and you allow it, it records only this square. It understands what you're recording. You can do this. You can do the same thing for A4 as well as for 1:1 or Instagram. So if you want an Instagram video quickly, that's it. So that's how fast things can go with this tool. And I told you there's also another option. Let's say you go for A4. Okay, you want to go for A4 and you feel that that it can actually have more quantity here, right? More content. So you can go to design and content and just make it denser. So automatically everything gets dense now. You'll redo the whole slide, but that doesn't mean that you lose the other one. You have both the denser and dense version available for you now. Okay. So it's adding more context. So if you now are interested in saving this as a book and as a PDF, and you want to send it to people, cool, that's better, right? You can actually, once it is done, I'll show you how it can actually be converted into a compact version. But there are many options here. So you can, the way you want, why would you want a compact version? So 1:1, let's say a 1:1 layout for LinkedIn is a very compact section, correct? So you would like to just click on 1:1. Now this 1:1 is too dense, or too dense for a 1:1 layout. And if you don't want to overwhelm anybody in your this one, so you can just go and make it compact. So here it will just switch to compact content density for all 25 slides. It's going to read the deck, and it's going to give you a compact. That's it. It just made everything into compact structure now. Now what happens is, of course, all this is going to use tokens, but for somebody who's thinking beyond tokens and somebody is completely into the experience of a user, because it is just one time investment, one time. So you can switch between dense now, you see, and denser quickly, correct? So if you're in denser mode, go for an A4 format. If you want in a compact mode, go for 1:1 format. You have everything right with you, everything, correct? So this is one of the beautiful features of SlideWithAI, and more features are going to get added. But so far, I think all the features here are perfectly aligned with the teaching framework right now. and we can just we would love to hear if you have any more features that you want to you want to see here. And I'm not showed you how this thing gets downloaded, right? A4, you go for content denser, because you have a denser, you already created one, so you just download it and it just comes to you as a PDF, and then you can just send it to anyone because it's now branded. Everything is in your logo. So we've just created an interesting branded slide on what algebra versus linear algebra is. So there you go. Right. So how difficult would this be in any other way to put all of this inside it? Correct. So there you go. So these are all these stuff which are added, and of course this is just a demo. Somebody who's really interested in creating a perfect slide would put in more effort, go more iterative, and create the best possible explanations they have. So this is the way how Slide with AI makes tomorrow's education interesting and deep. Thank you very much for your time.